what we're going to do in this tutorial is we're going to take a look at what I want you to do as far as this transformation tutorial that you have, right? So we're going to look at this and let's see, resize the square to match the guidelines. So really all this is about moving these to match where I have these guidelines, right? So we're just going to move that there. And let's move it to the edges to match our guidelines, right? So this is all just about being able to manipulate this. Now, I want to make this circle smaller to be here. And if you remember, I can hold down Option and Shift, and I can scale it right from center. Okay. Now these, the first ones are fairly easy, right? We're just dragging this in and dragging this in, grabbing the corners. Again, here, I'm going to grab the corner. I could grab from one side and then grab from the other, but it's just faster to grab right from the corner because I can manipulate both sides at once. And this side, we're just going to drag in. Now, these are a little bit trickier. This involves grabbing the white arrow tool, clicking and dragging over top of that. We're just going to bend that in to match that shape. Click and drag over top of this one, bend and drag to match that shape. And the same thing here. We're just going to drag from the outside and drag it to match that shape. All right, so let's move to the other one. Incidentally, while I'm moving around, I'm holding the space bar to kind of pan through. So what I want you to do is I want you to move this square and make this kind of checkerboard pattern with this. So we're just going to move this, and I want to duplicate it. So I'm going to hold down Option, and I could, hold down Option, put it there, hold down Option again, and drag it there. That's it, just about moving around within that space, or Alt if you're on the PC. Now this one, what I want to do is I'm going to rotate this, right? So if I rotate and hold down Shift, I'll get that diamond shape. And, what we're going to do is I'm just going to now scale this to match. Right, so there it is scaled. I'm just going to drag this over and drag it over again. And now what I'm going to do is select all three of these. So I dragged it by holding down Option. Let's just lock. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these three. So I can click once, hold down Shift, click again, hold down Shift, and click again. Hold down the Option key and Shift, and I'll duplicate it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold Option and Shift again and get the last one, right? Because I want to make sure I just keep within that selection. And then just Option, grab this one down there like that. Right? Really easy way to kind of manipulate around the space. So let's take a look at what we would do here. I'm going to make my rectangle. And I can duplicate this down, or I could draw another one. It's kind of up to you as far as what you want to do. Okay, now how would I get this corner? Let's see. Let's bring up, no, not that one. It's a really nice trick to get that corner. Let's bring up this transform palette that's here. Let's get rid of this one. So you can see within the transform palette, I have my rectangle properties. I also have this, which are the corners. So let's unlink this, right? So it's not linked here. And let's select my corner. Let's do this corner, and let's do the up arrow. Didn't select. So now let's change it to this. And you can see, that's a little too much. Let's go down. There we go, that's close enough. I could put a specific number, but let's just do that. And now what I'm going to do, right, so this is really great. This corner property is really great because I could now do, I could say, you know what, I want this top corner to be rounded. Okay, so now I'm going to take these and duplicate these all the way across here. Now a little shortcut that's great. If I want to replicate the movement, now we'll get into this a little bit deeper. But you can see I move this down, and these are all evenly spaced. I can do Command D, Command D, Command D, and it'll duplicate it. It's such a great tool. So let's go and make our circles or our ellipses here. I can also draw from the center by holding Option and Shift to make that circle. Drag that over, Command D, And now we're going to do the same thing with these rows of circles here. So I am now going to, let's say we just get this shape going. It's there. I'm going to Option drag. And then do Command D, Command D, Command D, Command D. And then I'm going to grab all of these, Option, drag down. Okay, this is all about just being able to manipulate your shapes inside of Illustrator. Okay, and this last shape is Option drag over, making sure this aligns down here, and we're going to get our transform palette up again, and we are going to change our corner to be that, and we are just going to make it somewhat close to it. Right? And that's a really easy way to do this. Now, let's say you didn't want to do it that way. If I was to then grab with the white arrow tool, I could also grab and do that. Boom. That doesn't work. No, I can't do that because I need another point there. Right? So that might have been a good solution, but I need another point here. Now we'll get into how you can add a point onto this and do this, but we'll just leave it in the transform palette for right now, right? So that is kind of manipulating your shapes, transforming them, and moving them around the screen tutorial.